guys? I'm back. And yeah, today we will be discussing the Cleveland Cavaliers and their terrible handling of LeBron James and the Cavaliers during that time that they had him. So we will be starting out by going through the draft picks and, their key teammates. So we'll start with the terrible draft picks. In 2001, before LeBron got there, they selected Sagna job with the 8th pick in the draft. 2002, they selected Jawan Wagner with the 8th pick, and Carlos Boozer, who was a good player, obviously, but they traded him 2 years later. In 2003, they actually had a really good draft, selecting LeBron James and Jason Capono, who were both, obviously, Bron's superstar Jason Capono. He was a fine role player, and for a second round pick, that's not bad. In 2004, they selected Luke Jackson, not a good pick. In 2006, they selected Daniel Gibson, which is actually a good pick for 42. And they selected Shannon Brown with, pretty high pick. And Shannon Brown was just a dunker. They selected J.J. Hickson with somewhere between 15 and 20. And he was an okay NBA player, but, not that great. And in 2009, they made a good pick in Danny Green, but they barely played him before trading him to San Antonio. And, we'll be talking about, and now, if we move on to here, we'll be talking about the players that they passed on in these draft classes. So in 2001, with the selection of the Sagna job, they passed on Joe Johnson, Richard Jefferson, and Zach Randolph. All three players that could have really helped. Zach Randolph probably the least helpful than RJ. But Joe Johnson was a star, a scoring star. Would have been great next to LeBron. That would have just been amazing for them. And if you move on to 2002 now, with the selection of Jawan Wagner, they passed on Amari Stoudemire, Caron Butler, Tayshaun Prince, and Nene. Now you could say Nene maybe isn't the greatest player ever, but he's definitely better than Jawan Wagner. He was a good player. Amari Stoudemire was a star. Tayshaun Prince was an amazing role player. Caron Butler was I believe 2-time All-Star. That's pretty nice. That would have been nice if they would have got him, but instead, they liked Jawan Wagner. 2003, they didn't have a bad pick. They didn't pass on anybody, really. They made the right picks. 2004, they passed on Josh and J.R. Smith, Jameer Nelson, Kevin Martin, and Tony Allen. In 2009, they didn't have any high pick. They had a second round pick. In 2006, they passed on Paul Millsap with selecting Daniel Gibson. Which, don't get me wrong, Daniel Gibson's a good player, but Paul Millsap's definitely better. And would have been nice, because Paul Millsap was definitely good by 2009. Or whenever it was that, 2009-10, Millsap was already a decent player. 2007, they didn't have a really high pick, so, And now comes 2008, which may be the worst one. They passed on some good players. So, they selected J.J. Hickson. By doing so, they passed on Serge Ibaka, Ryan Anderson, George Hill, Nicholas Batum, and DeAndre Jordan. Those are great players. Serge Ibaka would have been a great fit. Probably could play center. He could play some power forward. Would be great rim protection, and he can even bring a bit of scoring if needed. Ryan Anderson, people forget just how good this man was. He was a great shooter. He averaged 15 for 3 seasons. Definitely kind of a forgotten, really, really good scorer. I think he almost averaged 20 one season. He might have. George Hill, amazing shooter, amazing passer. Just would have been a nice fit alongside LeBron, even if he did take a couple years. Nicholas Batum, he was good instantly. I'd like to point out, by his second season, he was already a amazing 3-and-D guy playing on that 09-10 Blazers team. That was actually pretty good. Great 3-and-D guy. Yes, he fell off, but he used to be really, 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 really good. And then DeAndre Jordan, would have been a great PNR guy even in his rookie season. Eventually developed into a star. And maybe if they had drafted well, they obviously could have kept LeBron. First off, they wouldn't have had to try and trade for Amari. They could have just had him if they drafted him out too. And finally, in 2009, by selecting Danny Green, they did pass on Patrick Beverley. No, whoever the first round pick was, never mind. But either way, Patrick Beverley would have been better because they traded Danny Green. And Danny Green took a while to develop, honestly. It took a couple years, but Danny Green pick wasn't bad. I'm just saying they passed on a good player in Patrick Beverley. So now we're going to move on to LeBron's notable teammates in his time in Cleveland. Maybe this will just give you an idea of just how bad their management was. So in 2003-2004, he got 22 games of Ricky Davis, Carlos Boozer, and Big Z. That's actually not a bad core, but Carlos Boozer wasn't Carlos Boozer yet. In 2004, they had Big Z and Drew Gooden. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to 2005-2006, they had Big Z and Larry Hughes, and they still had Drew Gooden. If you like Drew Gooden, he was still there. In 06-07, he had quite literally the same teammates, but you had in Sasha Pavlovic. Okay, they made the finals run that year, so must have done something right. Except it's remembered as one of the worst finals teams ever, which I don't really like that. I think the team was actually decent, but I agree it wasn't finals level. It was actually a good team though. Like, it wasn't filled out with some bums. It was filled out with good players, but not finals level players. So it's like Big Z. In 2007-2008, he had Big Z, Larry Hughes, and Delonte West. So actually not that bad. Delonte West was pretty nice, I guess. And these are just a notable, big time teammates. Because obviously, Verjao was there the whole time, stuff like that. Obviously, at this point, they had the rivalry going with the Celtics. We can see the background gameplay. This was just sim I was watching. As we're going to move on to 08-09, which had a pretty decent team on paper. With Big Z, Larry Hughes, Delonte West, and Ben Wallace, except Ben Wallace was washed. He wasn't good. He averaged he wasn't a great scorer, obviously. Only averaging 3 points, super inefficiently, not getting that many blocks. That's not good. At this point, Big Z had rapidly started to fall off. Larry Hughes was falling off a little bit. Delonte West was getting better, though. In 2009-2010, their best team on paper by far, with Mo Williams, who was an all-star this season. He was an all-star. And to be fair, he was a weak all-star. Very weak. And he's not an all-star that can lead your team to anything. He's just an all-star that's an all-star. They had Antoine Jamison after trading for him at the trade deadline. Shaquille O'Neal. But this ain't good Shaq. This is washed, terrible Shaq. 1 year before Celtics Shaq. I don't care if he was an all-star the year before or something. He was not good. He just was a big body. They had Sebastian Telfair, Delonte West, But that's a good team. And that's actually the team that is playing in the background right now. If you can probably tell, they have Verjao still, It was a decent team. Well, they don't have Jameson in that one because they never traded for him in my sim. But I'm getting off topic. Anyway, it was a good team, but they could have had Amari Stoudemire, but they decided that they liked Big Z Algauskas and J.J. Hicks more. If they would trade for Amari Stoudemire, LeBron probably stays. The rings in Miami doesn't happen. Or at least he could stay, because now they have Amari, a bona fide star. You know what? I'll let you guys decide what you think about that. As that'll be wrapping up. Drop below just how good you think that Amari LeBron team would be. Like and subscribe. Appreciate a share. Get my audience up a little bit. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at RedsFan3306. And that'll pretty much be wrapping it up. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.